Alrighty, guys, we're gonna jump right into the learning the basic guides of Tracer. So, this is Tracer. She's one of the heroes of Overwatch. She fills a damage role. So, this is her basic hero information that you can find just by going into her character and clicking on it. Now, Tracer is a damage hero. She's a flank damage. She is not used for the front line. She is effectively used to harass the backlines or harass the enemies from spawn, from their spawn. She's effectively you're trying to pick off squishy targets with Tracer. Tracer is a difficulty level 2 from Blizzard, which I personally will agree with. She is a difficult hero to pick up and play, but she's not that hero that's so difficult that you can't pick her up unless you put time and effort into the game itself. You can pick her up in the basics and learn the basics of her really really quickly. Now, for me, she's probably one of the only few heroes that I'll give a 5-star mastery to in my guides, simply because to play Tracer and to effectively play Tracer are completely two different spectrums. I am in no way a very good Tracer. She's probably my least picked hero. I loved her for a while simply because she was fun to play, but she's become such a finicky hero for me that I don't effectively play her very often anymore. So to basically give you a rundown of her, she's got 4 abilities, one of which is her main left click. Now, she's got her pulse pistols, which is her left click. She's got her pulse bomb, which is her Q, or whatever you have it bound to. Then you got your blink, which is her ability 1, or shift, whatever you have bound to. Now, another thing about this, guys, it is also bound to your right click. So be very careful with this and seeing how many times you right click, because I myself have done it multiple times where I've accidentally right clicked one too many times. Now, her next ability is her ability 2, which is her recall, or her E, or whatever you guys have it bound to. These are her basic abilities. This is her kit. These are her abilities. I'm going to run through the basics of them. Now, her pulse pistols are 2 single pistols, 20 bullets in each pistol. They go by really, really fast, and they are effective they are effectively doing full damage up to, I believe, 13 yards. Now, to get an idea of what 13 yards is, it is just outside of a McCree flash. So if you are fighting with a McCree, it is effectively just slightly outside of the McCree flash grenade. So you can effectively damage a McCree without having to get up in his face anymore. Her former pistols were effective at 10 yards and had fall-off damage after that. Now, fall-off damage is something I will talk about later down the road in my guides, but right now we're just going to effectively say these pistols are short-range automatic weapons that are effective up to 13 yards. After that, they experience a fall-off, and it's very drastic with Tracer. Now, that is basically the only thing about these pistols that are, I can really say is that she is... it's the only way to get your ult. It's the only way to do damage, and they're not useful if you're just spraying at max range. Remember, you can just spray as much as you want with these things. You don't have to be up in front of a Ryan for your face if you're wanting to damage shield. Or you're waiting for your team to get back so you can go flank. That's effectively a good way to use it. You can also use it to get some ult charge just by spraying at weird targets like a Widow up in the high ground. Now, Tracer, again, these are Tracer in general is a flank, so she's not just used to take out supports. She's also used to take out snipers. She's an effective counter to Widowmaker, much like another Widowmaker is, or a Winston. She's a very effective counter to Widowmakers simply because Tracers can pump out massive damage into a Widow, and the Widow can't get a full-off shot on a Tracer who's moving properly. Now, we're going to skip over Ultimate, and we're going to go to her Blink. So her Blink is her ability 1 or her left shift or whatever you guys have it bound to. Now, this ability here is quite powerful if used properly. I find now this can be used to cross gaps in the map. It can be used to effectively take positions in high grounds. It can be used from the high ground to teleport into another area of high ground if you can use them in sync with each other. The most effective way to use this blink, however, is to blink behind the enemy, blink, through a Ryan shield and, go out of sight of anybody and then try to, go and blink into the back line and kill like the Ana or the Brig or the Mora or the Zen, effectively just trying to get them out of the game. You can also use it to blink past, like I like to, if I'm playing Tracer on King's Row, I like to blink to the right of where the stairs are and go and deal with the Widow who's there, or go and deal with the Soldier, whoever's up there. just to harass them so they're not effectively damaging my team, whereas I'm damaging them. I'm getting my ult, and we're having a one-on-one battle. So that's effectively how you're going to use this. Now, my basic guide to you on this is always try to make sure you have available one blink just in case you get into a very tight situation where you're not going to survive or you need to get out and you don't have your E. So this means you're going to want to try to blink, hold for a couple seconds, or hold, press W. You might want to blink once and hold W for a little, 1 or 2 seconds, and then blink again, and repeat that process until you get to where you want to go. Now, if you're going to dive the back line, you can use all three, because the way you're going to get out is your E. Just make sure your E is available when you dive. Don't press your E. Don't go diving when you don't have your E, because that's how you're going to get out. Now, let's talk about your recall. Your recall teleports you back 8 seconds in time to where you previously were located in those 8 seconds. With your I believe I don't know if they still do it, but they used to reload your pulse pistols if you had full ammo when you recalled, but you also you recalled to where you were when you were before, with the health you had before. So now, this being said, is you might dive a backline and your healer heals you, but when you were going in, you took damage and you only had 70 HP, and you recall. The healing that your healer just did effectively gets nullified, and you go back down to the health you were when you recalled. So you have to be very careful and try to try to remember where you were prior, and see if it's viable to recall, or if it's viable to just use your blink to get out of the sight lines of whoever you're fighting. Now, that being said, is using your blink and your E in conjunction, like I said, is the way to go for a backline. You want to use all 3 blinks, get to the backline, and then use your E to get out. When you're fighting like a Widow, or you're doing something, you want to stagger your blinks a little bit, and you want to use the blinks to dodge Widow shots. Don't ever blink straight to a Widow. That is the worst thing you could do. If there's a Widow sniping, don't blink forward 3 times, because that Widow's just going to wait for you to blink. And when you come out of your blink on the 3rd time, you're going to be right in her sight lines. That is a very bad choice to do. Make sure when you're using your blinks, you're staggering your blinks. Now, the last ability is her Pulse Bomb. So we've gone over her blink and her recall. Her Pulse Bomb is a single bomb. She throws out a sticky bomb, and it sticks to a surface or enemy target. It does 400 damage. Now, this is a very great ultimate to use when there's a Graviton surge, but don't rely on a Zarya to give you the good kill. Just like a Rhine Shatter, Fire Ult, a Roadhog, they can all effectively be used just to get 1 kill. And with her Pulse Bomb, you want to use it on supports. The reason for this, and just make sure you have your blink available when you do Pulse Bomb, because sometimes that support will decide to come running towards you. Well, if you don't have a blink, you're gonna blow yourself up in the process, and you're gonna, die. You don't want that. So make sure you have a blink up or your recall up when you're doing this. Now, the reason why you want to target a support is because that support could be like the targets that I prioritize with this are like when going to support line is a Brig who I know has her ult, or who's about to ult, who is ulting, Zenyatta who I know has his ult, Lucio who I know who has his ult, a Moira who I know has her, or is in her ult, or I know has her ult and doesn't have her fade. Those are targets that, or a BAP to get the immortality out. You want to be able to use this effectively. So the reason why you want to use this ability on those specific characters is because if you can get a Zen to pop his Transcendence for no reason other than to survive, is great. If you get a beat drop, you can kill if the Lucio's too high up in the air, the bomb will go off before he actually gets that beat off, and it will screw him over, and he'll waste his ult, and you'll get nothing from it. A Brig, if she's ulting and rallying, no matter what her rally does, she's going to die to your Pulse Bomb, because it effectively does 400 damage, and she's only going to gain 400 shields, so she will get one-shotted by it. Amora, same thing. If she's ulting in her Coalescence and she's in a straight line, you can predict where she's going to go. You might want to pop it on there when she doesn't have it, because she won't be able to fade. Now, you effectively don't want to pop it on a Moira or a Reaper, because they have the way to get out of it. Don't ever try to focus those two. They're not viable targets. It's just not a good choice. And Ana is a really good choice, because an Ana is a main healer. She's effectively really slow, and you can easily get a stick on her if you properly time it. Now, the other target I was talking about was a BAP. The reason why you want to pop it on a BAP is because a BAP will feel obligated to throw down his immortality on himself. Now, if he does do this down, do this, and he throws it down on himself, what's going to happen is he no longer has the immortality for whatever your team has coming. That's the same with the beat, and the same with the transcendence. If they effectively use their ability too early, they have no way of guaranteeing that they're going to survive the next team engagement, because you might have just wasted one of their only defensive ults. And that is what Tracer's Pulse Bomb is great for, is we're getting them to waste their ultimates, their defensive ults. Now let me talk to you a little bit about a combo with Tracer. I already talked to you about the blink blink blink, kill the squishy, then recall combo. We're going to talk about our blink blink, pulse pistols while blinking, and then the melee combo with a last blink to get a quick kill. So you're going to want to blink in, spray with your pulse pistols, blink forward, and melee. So always try to get this down. Try to make sure you're meleeing the target while spraying down the target. So if the target has 200 HP and you hit them with all your pulse pistols, you will effectively kill them. But if you don't do that, you could always melee them. So you want to be into the habit of blinking and meleeing the target, just like a D.Va booster, guys. Like I was saying with D.Va boosters, is the same thing with Tracer. You want to effectively blink forward, spray some damage, blink again, and melee the target so they're dead. You want to make sure you kill them if you're gonna dive. Don't play Tracer if you're not gonna kill the target, because it's pointless. Now another thing you can do with Tracer is the strafe crouch. So the way to effectively strafe crouch is by using A and S while using your crouch button. So whatever you have it bound to. I have it bound to control, and you can use this. So you're gonna move from left to right or right to left, whatever way you want to decide, and you're gonna use your keys, but you're gonna crouch as you're doing it. And the reason for this is you make your head hitbox about 25% smaller on the target. So it's harder for a Widow to headshot you. It's harder for people to actually shoot you in the head. It's also harder for people to actually hitbox you, because you make your hitbox a little bit smaller as well too. So it's effective too when you're fighting a Zen, or you're fighting somebody who has a single shot gun like an Ashe or anything, and you want to get you want to dodge bullets, but you want to get close. This does not always work. It's not something I would say for if you're just picking her up to do, but it's an effective way to get in the front line and do some damage if you can. So again, with Tracer, her best combos with Tracer is when you're playing dive. Her dive is the best way to go with Tracer. She's one of the most effective dive characters in the game, 100%. No matter how you play her, she's effective in dive. And as long as you're hitting your shots, you're doing your abilities properly, you are one of the most effective dive characters, because you can get in and out of combat really quickly. And if you're diving their backline and your tanks follow up with you, you're killing their backline, guaranteed 100% of the time if you guys are competent enough to do it. Now, that being said, is remember the guy what I just told you. Remember with the blinking, you want to stagger blinks if you don't need to waste all your blinks. If you can get to the target in 2 blinks, don't use your third blink to get to engage even further. Use it to get away. If you can blink blink blink, get a quick kill on the kill on the squishy, and then recall, great. Just make sure you're watching where your recall is. And now again with your pulse pistols, make sure you're not too far. Make sure you're getting the full amount of damage that you can get from those pistols. I am pretty sure that it's still 13 yards, but I might be wrong. It might be a little bit less now, because I do recall people complaining about the pulse pistols down the road. So I don't know if they've actually changed it. Again, haven't picked Tracer up in probably, I want to say 6 months, guys. So don't take everything I say like it's perfect, because it's not. I'm going off of how I have learned playing Tracer over the course of my time in Overwatch, and what I think is the best way effectively to play her. So again, make sure you're doing the strafe crouch if you want to learn how to do it. It's great to learn, because it will make you more effective. Make sure you're using the melee gun combo. So the blink melee gun combo. So again, with that one, you're gonna blink forward, spray your whole entire clip into them, and then blink again to get the melee, and then recall out, or go wherever you need to go. If you're safe to just blink away or run away, that's fine. But if you're not, recall. And make sure you're always making sure when you engage a target, you have your E available, because it is gonna save your life 9 times out of 10. On top of that, make sure when you are engaging with your ultimate, you're not just trying to get the juicy 5k or the juicy 2k, 2 kills, 3 kills. Try to make sure you're using it effectively to take out supports, take out hindrances, like a really really good Widow you could use it on, a really good Ashe. You can use it on a Zen before forcing it a trans. You can use Transcendence. You can also use it to force out a beat drop, a nano. certain different things that are great to do. Like you can get a juicy kill, you could get the juicy kills, or you could force out them to waste an ult that you can charge up faster than they can. Remember, you can charge up your pulse bomb. I believe Tracer has one of the fastest ones. I think it naturally charges at, I think it's 68 seconds or 78 seconds that she charges on, or something like that. Naturally, well, but doing damage will charge it even faster. I have seen in games where I'm playing with a Tracer getting her ult every like 35 seconds and using it and getting a kill, and then charging it back up another 35 seconds. If you're effective with all your abilities, you're hitting your shots, you're going to be able to charge your pulse bomb up really quickly. But you have to understand that, again, she's not an easy character to master, but she's not hard to pick up and learn. But if you're going to be super effective with her, you got to learn all of her different abilities and getting them down to a T, and using her combos effectively. But that, guys, is my guide to Tracer. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section or message me on Discord, and I'll be happy to answer the best of my abilities. But that's all, guys. Until next time, take care.